what's up, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy.
I'm Jeremy.
Jeremy Frye, he's cool. He's won a GP, and this past weekend he got 9th place in Star City, Fort Worth, Dallas, so he's pretty cool. With this sweet deck that we're going to talk to you guys about. So what's your take on this Hollow One Vengevine Dredge deck situation? I don't know what to say.
Well, I started just playing regular Hollow One decks because I really like the card. Just 0 mana 4/4s are really powerful, obviously. And then Vengevine's also been a long time favorite card of mine, so I figured why not try to jam them in the same deck. Tried some games on Magic Online with it and got really good results, so I figured I'd run with it and took it to SCG.
Sounds awesome. I like it. Alright, so we're going to get started in the deck. We're not going to talk about mana beasts or sideboard. Deck will be listed in the down bar below. Let's get into it. Alright, so first we're going to talk about spells. So you run 4 Burning Inquiries. So what's up with this card? Why do you like it so much?
It's a really oddball card in Modern, but as people probably know by now, if there's Hollow One in the deck, you gotta have Burning Inquiry. It's the only way to easily discard 3 cards on turn 1 with a single card. So cast turn 1 Burning Inquiry, draw 3 random cards, or draw 3 cards, discard 3 randomly, and then cast 3 Hollow Ones, all the ones in your hand.
Seems really good. How much does it like end up hurting you? Has it ever like been in a bad situation where you've had to discard cards that are like not been helpful? That you're like, I wish I had that in my hand still?
That is, people call it like RNG the deck, because that is the randomness part that comes with it, but the way that the deck is constructed, you're probably more like 90% to have good outcomes, but there's still like a small chance that something bad can happen.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah, card's like really powerful, especially for 1 mana, like Faithless Looting.
I mean, at this point, that kind of goes without saying. It's the best red cantrip type card in Modern.
Cards
Fuels
amazing.
everything the deck's doing.
Yeah, I mean, how could you build this deck and not run like Faithless Looting? Card's
Exactly.
amazing. Okay, cool. Then we have Goblin Lure.
Now, Goblin Lure is kind of like Burning Inquiry's big brother. You know, it does basically the same thing, but costs an extra mana. You draw an extra card, so it's not card negative like Burning Inquiry, it's card neutral. So that part is nice, but extra mana is pretty costly. Still, you want as many of that effect as possible, so you're running 4 copies of each.
Yeah, card seems just incredibly powerful. Sweet. Okay, creatures. Literally the bulk of the deck. A straight up half of the deck. 30 creatures. So first is Flame Blade. Try saying that 12 times fast. Adept. Oh my god. Whoa, this card's like lit for 1 mana. Like.
Oh, you would not believe the amount of damage this card can dish out. For 1 red mana, you get a 1/2 Menace. Now that Menace part is very important there. You play this on turn 1, people are not blocking it the next turn.
Straight up.
And then with the ways, with Street Wraith cycling, with all the other Burning Inquiries and nonsense you can do, it can be hitting them for 5 or 6 damage the first attack. If you attack again, it could be another 4 or 5. This creature can do like 10 damage by itself.
That's really satisfying. That sounds really sweet. And I think what I like about this card is like it's a really good like mid-range. I mean, this deck in general I feel like is decent mid-range, but this is a really good like early game card where you just like cast it and you can just like totally kill your opponent like super early on in the game. So
Oh, for sure.
Oh, super cool. Love that card. Okay. Then we have Flame Wake Phoenix. This card, how do you like, you can't kill this card because it just keeps coming back. It's super sweet. It's got flying and haste for 3 mana. That sounds good to me. I like that.
Just a hint, you're probably not paying 3 mana for it.
True story, true story. Beginning of combat, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, which you probably do, you can pay 1 to get it back. This card's so good.
And it turns out this deck has creatures with power 4 or greater in spades.
Yeah, so that should basically never be an issue. Casting a 1 mana 2/2 flying haster, who doesn't want to do that? That seems pretty sweet. Love it. Card's great. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little salty that you're running Gourmet Angler over Tombstalker, but I'll let it go for now. Gourmet Angler, I mean, who doesn't like 1 mana 5/5s?
Yeah, I mean, Tombstalker is technically a better card because of the flying, but the 1 mana is very relevant in this deck.
Understandable. Have you like tested it with Tombstalker at all, or no? Is it just straight
It's
up,
just,
like,
you
Gourmet?
need the 1 mana because a lot of times on turn 2, you're discarding a Vengevine with one of the other creatures instantly neonate. We're going to talk about in a bit, and then you need another 1 mana creature for your 2nd mana to trigger those Vengevines that turn.
Makes sense, yeah. How early on do you usually cast a card like this?
Usually turn 2 and on. if you cast a turn 1 Burning Inquiry, it's kind of like Dark Ritualing for this creature. The cards you're discarding off the random discards are just feeling it.
Dude, I always thought like turn 2 Tassigars were like sweet, but like this seems really good. Okay, cool. Hollow One. I mean, we've been kind of mentioning it like basically all video. Guy's like super big. He's got a super big body. Like, this guy's awesome. So he costs 2 less for each card you've cycled or discarded this turn, so you pretty much just cast him for free.
Yep, basically everything in the deck's built around this guy. It's the namesake of the deck. Without this card, the deck wouldn't be possible.
Absolutely, and also too, it's colorless. Has that ever been relevant if you actually have hard casted in before, which you've done? Like, have you hard casted this card before?
Answer is yes, I have.
Okay, sometimes you need to do that.
But the colorless has actually come up in the tournament before. When you're playing against Tron, they have this card called Ugin the Spirit Dragon that makes you exile colored permanents. And Hollow One gets around that.
Okay, dude, yeah, relevant elephant, seriously. And Tron, I mean, I always find Tron a super challenging matchup. I don't know about you, so I'm always
with this deck, you can usually just kill them before they can get online.
Love it. Love it. Okay, Insolent Neonate. So when John and I did the Dredge deck, I'm like, this card is a house. I think it just does everything you want it to do in this deck and more
exactly.
for 1 mana.
So like a lot of the other Hollow One decks that don't run Vengevine, they exclude this card because only 1 discard. They prefer cards that discard a little more. But in this one, it's really relevant because it's a creature as well as a discard outlet. So you cast it as your first creature for the turn, sacrifice the discard of Vengevine, cast your second creature, recur that Vengevine. It's just an easy way to cheat that creature into play.
And I think too, what I really like about it is sack is a part of the cost. So it's like, people, they don't want to kill this card because it's just a 1/1, and that seems like really sucky to cast like a bolt on it. They're not going to try to path it. You just sack it in response pretty much. And you can always have that option to sack it, discard, draw a card. Card's amazing. Street Wraith. Oh. Yeah.
Street Wraith's probably one of the more broken cards in Modern at this point, truth be told.
Straight up.
A free cycle, it's just really good, especially when by itself you're just paying 2 life to make your Hollow One cost 2 less. Your Flame Blade Adept's getting +1 attack. It just does everything you want.
This deck seems super, like, so synergistic. Like, everything just works together super perfectly, pretty much.
Oh yeah, it's a very synergy-driven deck.
Yeah. How is sideboarding with it? Just because it is so synergistic, how does that kind of come into play?
I kind of learned moreover as I was playing in the tournament that you cannot sideboard very much with this deck. Very rarely did I board over 2 cards in a match. And there were times where I didn't sideboard at all.
You know, I think that's something that is very not talked about, is sometimes it's really hard to sideboard, and sometimes you don't sideboard a lot. Or I sometimes do the classic 61 cards. A lot of people disagree with that, but sometimes I'm like, I need that extra card, I can't take anything else out, and I just board in 61.
Oh yeah, like this deck on the play, it can have pretty consistent turn 3, turn 4 kills, so sometimes you just want to let the deck do its thing.
So, and you don't want to mess up that.
Yeah, you don't want to mess any of that synergy up. Everything works for part of the plan and the main deck.
Absolutely, I love it. Dude, it's got Swamp Walk, relevant.
It has been relevant before. Those really long grindy games where you get to 5 mana, it's probably against Thoughtseize decks, so they have the requisite swap.
I like it. Card's awesome. Okay, so we don't really have that much time in this video for me to endlessly talk about Tassier because you guys know it's one of my favorite magic cards ever, because bananas. Literally does everything.
I opted for the 2/2 split because it's pretty much the same as Goblin Lure, but it costs 1 less to delve, so just a little easier for that turn 2 delve. You know, makes it a little more consistent.
And listen, you know, I know you talked about you want to kill people on turn 3 or 4, but sometimes you just don't kill people on turn 3 or 4, and you go to the late stages of the game, and Tassiger is like one of the best mid-range cards in my opinion in Modern. Like, straight up, for grinding games out, he's just a house.
It is one of the main reasons I included the second Stomping Grounds, have the ability to activate them.
Love it. Oh, God, yeah. I'm gonna stop myself from talking about Tassiger, because we'll be here like all night if we continue. Okay, Vengevine. I think people forget this as a card in Modern. I think so because he's lit. He's a 4/3 haste, and when you cast a creature spell, if it's the second, you just bring him back. You bring him back, guys. Do you not get that? It's just a 4/3 haster. Card kills people.
I heard that free creatures on the second turn are pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but that seems pretty sweet to me. This card's amazing. Love it, love it. Okay, and the last creature is 2 of Wild Cantor. Explain this one.
This is pretty much the flex slot in the deck. All I knew I wanted in that slot was 2 creatures that cost 1 mana. And so I originally was fooling around with some other things like Goblin Guides, Grim Lavamancer, stuff like that. But I eventually settled on Wild Cantor because there are some situations where it lets you recur Vengevine when no other creature could. It's essentially a free creature in that you pay a mana for it, sacrifice it to get that mana back, cast a second creature, recur your Vengevine. So you can recur your Vengevines with only 1 mana.
That seems pretty sweet to me. I was like, I definitely want to ask you about this because it seems like an interesting card in the deck to have. So, yeah, deck sweep. I mean, guy got 9th place in the thing, so he knows what he's talking about. Thanks for being on the team.
Thanks for having me.
Alright, so I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.